States and UK, you agree with me?
Oh, for sure. And, we started doing that about 2-3 quarters ago. I talked about adding another leg to the stool, and the early results that we saw then was very encouraged, and that's obviously continued, and it's on the back of that we felt comfortable rolling it out in more markets. And I'm just very, very encouraged by the result that we're seeing across the board on engagement, and the Spotify users are getting a fantastic value for their money.
Well, let's talk about the value, because it seems like you are aggressively courting creators. And to not talk about podcasts is ridiculous. Your podcast business is exploding, isn't it?
Oh, it is for sure, Jim. So we've been growing the past few years from 5 million creators to 7 million creators, and this year 8 million creators, and it's growing very, very rapidly. And in the next few years, we think as many as 50 million creators will be on the Spotify platform. And that obviously means that they'll create more engaging content, which means more users will come on, and then the more users will come on, the more great creators will come on as well. So it's a real flywheel in the making.
Daniel, it's David. I well remember the day you joined us at the NYSE when you talked about podcasting as a strategic imperative for the company. I wonder, though, when I look at the company, in terms of what you pay the labels as a percent of revenue, that's still overall revenue, isn't it? In other words, you haven't been able to separate revenue from podcasting from revenue from music. Is that something you will be able to do at some point?
Yeah, so we have two totally different revenue streams for podcasters and for music. The gross margin profile for podcasting obviously is a bit different. We're still very much in the investment phase in our podcasting stage, but over time I expect them to be a little bit better than we have on the music side. So that's obviously going to contribute to a much better story over time for Spotify.
Daniel, Joe Rogan's obviously a huge influencer. What he said about vaccines and younger people continues to make news. What's the ready response to that, and how difficult is it to remain, I guess, agnostic about his comments regarding a vaccine when we know how important it is for countries to get their populations vaccinated?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to what any one creator is talking about on the platform. We have 8 million creators and hundreds of millions of pieces of content. So we have a content policy on Spotify, and we, consistently applies it across the board, no matter if it's Joe Rogan or any one of our other creators.
All right, Daniel, I'm a big fan of Spotify, but I'm also a big fan of Arsenal turning around. And it's a franchise that is storied. And I just want to know right now, how much do you want it, and can you get it?
Well, Jim, I've been an Arsenal fan since I was 8 years old. Arsenal is my team. I love the history. I love the players. And of course, I love the fans. So as I look at that, I just see a tremendous opportunity to set a real vision for the club to bring it back to its glory. And I want to establish trust with fans, and I want to engage the fans again. So to answer your question, I'm very serious. I have secured the funds for it, and I want to bring what I think is a very compelling offer to the owners, and I hope they hear me out.
Daniel, they don't seem to be interested in selling, though. And unlike a public company where there's other things you can do to conceivably pressure them, here I suppose it's only the fan base, but, they've made it clear, we're not sellers.
Yeah, but as I started out saying, I've been a fan for 30 years of this club, and I certainly didn't expect that this would happen overnight, and I'm prepared that this could be a long journey. But all I can do is prepare what I think is a very thoughtful offer and bring it to them and hope they hear me out.
Well, one of the things that they're saying is that they're not interested. That to me sounds like an opening offer. You have a lot of cash. You are the fan owner. Everyone wants to see an owner who identifies with the fans. I don't want to slam the Crunkies too much, but they own a lot of teams, and it seems like this is just some asset for them, and nothing real particular. Doesn't that gall you? Doesn't that make you feel angry?
Well, I just focus on the club, I focus on the fans, and I focus on trying to bring the club back to glory. And as you said, I'm first and foremost a fan. That's the most important thing for me, and I want the club to do better. That's my primary interest.
All right, speaking of glory, let's get back to Spotify for a moment. Daniel, you're still sticking with long-term, getting to margins of between 30 and 40%. Is that still realistic for this company?
Absolutely so. So I think the broader story here that I think is worth pointing out, like we started as a music company, we then set out to be an audio company, but more than that, it started as a streaming service and it's really becoming an audio platform. And when you think about that audio platform, we're now creating tools for better creation, better distribution, better engagement, and better monetization. And that's going to bring revenue opportunities across all four of these categories. And some of them are going to be very high margin businesses for us. Some of them are, of course, lower margin businesses. But overall, I definitely think it's realistic to be in the mid-30s on the gross margin side.
So, Daniel, Apple reports tonight. You're fighting a battle with them in Europe regarding anti-competitive behavior. Is it time to bury the hatchet?